Hi, good morning everyone. It's Rachel from Burn That Butter. And today I wanted to talk about weighing yourself on the scale. People get really weird about their weights on the scale. And I'll be honest, sometimes I'm one of those people who gets kind of weird about themselves on the scale. But the scale is a tool. Okay, it's just one tool. It's not the only tool. Other tools are using a tape measure to take measurements of like your arm, your chest, your waist, your hips, your thighs, things like that. I haven't done that in a really, really long time, but I probably will soon. Just, to see what the difference is. But I do weigh myself every single morning. That's right. I weigh myself every single morning. And sometimes my weight does this from day to day. And that's okay. You know what? I think that's a really good reason to weigh yourself every day because you can see those kinds of fluctuations. You can see those patterns. For example, I've learned about myself that if I eat any sort of beef, whether it's like a hamburger or I have fajitas or, the very rare occasional thing of steak. If I eat any sort of beef product, I usually kind of hold weight for like at least 1 or 2 days afterwards. And I'm not sure if that's from fluid or that it's just a little harder for my body to digest, so it kind of hangs out in my system a little bit longer. But this is something that I have learned about myself. So let's say I did eat some beef and I step on the scale the next morning and I'm 2 pounds heavier. You know what? I don't freak out about that because I know, oh yeah, last night we did beef taco night. Okay, yeah, I expect it, right? But I can see the gradual process. Now, I'm actually the kind of person that I probably have like a very sort of mild dyslexia type thing when it comes to numbers. So sometimes I get numbers jumbled up. Sometimes I misremember numbers, or if I try to do the math in my head, I get a little confused. What are you going to do, right? And so you may notice that on some of my other videos. Well, because I know that sometimes I get the numbers a little jumbled up, it's helpful for me to write the numbers down. And I've started a new system, but first I'm going to explain what my old system was. My old system was that I had a piece of paper hanging up in front of my scale, and I would write down when I would hit a milestone. And the milestones that I was looking for were either at least a 2 pound drop or every 5 pounds. So on the zeros and on the fives, then I would write it on the official piece of paper. But I also had a little stick note to it where then I would write things every day so that I could sort of see that. And I had done that for quite a period of time, but I decided that I was going to scrap that, and I redid my numbers, and I'm going to show you what I did. What I'm going to do from here forward is I'm like looking over at my piece of paper every now and then. What I'm going to do from here forward is I am going to write down what my official weight is on the 1st and on the 15th of every month. And that is going to really help me see the overall patterns much better. I went back to some of my historical records, and as I said, but sometimes there may have been like kind of big gaps that were there. And I tried to use, I have some weights that are logged into a program called My Plate, which I have historically used. And I went back into My Plate and I tried to find the information as close as I could to the 1st and 15th of every day last year. And then I have the weights now from this year. And so I'm just gonna step over in my bathroom. Okay. And let's see. Okay. So here is the official piece of paper. Here is 2021, again, with the 1st and the 15th Sometimes I had to kind of, it may not be exact, but there we go. So when I started in 2021, when I started this process, I was 260 pounds. And like I said, I might have only written down my number like here, which would have been in June when, or maybe somewhere between here where I hit 255, right? So anyhow, I've gone back and you can see how if I do the 1st and the 15th, I can really see sometimes, I'm looking for an example, sometimes like, okay, so between April the 1st and May the 1st, I probably lost about 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, which is pretty slow, but it was still, like, okay, there's this gradual sort of process. Now, about August the 6th, that is when I got Lumen, and you can see how my weight loss really kind of accelerated, even though here on October the 15th to the 1st, like I only lost 1 pound in that 2 weeks, but then 2 weeks later I would have been down an entire 4 pounds. So all right, and here is for this year. So January 1st, I was 193, 191, 190, 189, 188, 186. And so March the 15th, just a few days ago, I was 186. All right, so here, sorry about that. Here's the Post-it note. So I've been 186-ish, plus or minus, a pound. Yesterday, I was 184.8. And on the 20th, that's today, I was 183.4. And so now I'm gonna come back over here and I'm gonna move to a nicer place for me to sit, right? Let's grab my little stand. And now I'm gonna talk about my weight a little bit more. Grabbing my stand, putting my phone in the stand. So there we go, much more stabilized, etc. Hi, good morning. Okay, well, let's talk about my weight. So the way that my brain kind of thinks about things, because my weight does, kind of fluctuate, bounce around. That's the glamour of being female, even though I had a hysterectomy 10 years ago. And I'm a proud member of only the one ovary club because they removed an ovary as well. So I don't know if I'm in menopause. My body probably still over the last 10 years, is doing the female thing with hormones, as if I was going to have a period where, your hormones don't know that you don't have or missing one ovary and missing, your uterus. But I don't know whether I am in menopause or not. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Who knows? Who cares? Doesn't really matter. But my point being is that, I am sensitive to salt. I'm sensitive to certain items in my diet, such as beef. And, whether you pooped that morning or not, all these things can make a difference into where your weight kind of bounces around, during the day and each morning. But I am looking at the overall pattern, and that is what I encourage you to do also. Look for the overall pattern. Are you staying the same? There's nothing wrong with staying the same. Staying the same is good, right? Are you staying the same? Are you gradually moving down? You don't have to move down in a fast pattern, because guess what? If you lose weight fast, you will regain it fast, okay? Because that's diet mentality and deprivation mentality, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so everybody knows that about 13, 14 years ago, I lost 100 pounds with diet and exercise. And then, as I always explain it, I had the series of health crises, multiple surgeries, multiple blood transfusions. I was very, very sick. I also went through separation and divorce. I was in a horrible, horrible place mentally, physically, spiritually. I was sick on every single level. I had doctors tell me I was not allowed to exercise. That is how sick I was like, we don't want you doing anything other than, doing your normal, you can walk at the grocery store when you go grocery shopping, but that's like kind of all they wanted me to do. Point being is that about 12, 13 years ago, after I lost all of that weight with really hard work, with running marathons, with all of that kind of stuff, I became very sick and I regained weight, and I regained 75 of the 100 pounds that I had lost before. Well, as of today, mentally, well, I should kind of wait maybe until tomorrow. But usually I have only counted a weight as being real if I weigh the same weight or less 3 days in a row, because my body, kind of does this kind of nonsense, which everybody's body does. But it was kind of a mental game to me. So that was where the Post-it note part came for tracking my weight, right? So what's on the Post-it note is only temporary. What I write on the sheet is the real weight. Well, oh my God, I'm going to cry. I'm so happy. Getting myself together because I don't want to cry on camera, because when I cry ugly. Some people cry pretty. I don't cry pretty. Okay, making fun of myself so that I'm laughing instead of crying. When I lost all of the weight before, the lowest weight that I got to was 184. For the last 2 days, I've been 184 pounds or less. I am back to where I was when I had lost all of the weight before, when I had lost the 100 pounds before. Now I can officially say I've lost 75 pounds since I've started this process. And 55 of that is since I've been using Lumen last August, right? It's March right now. So let's see. August to September, October, November, December, January, February, March. 7 months, I have lost 55 pounds. I've lost 55 pounds with Lumen. I am a half marathon runner, and I am training for being able to run a full marathon this October. I haven't sent them my money yet because I need to wait until I get paid. But because I'm a real person with real bills to pay, etc. But I am signing up for the Des Moines Marathon, which is in October. And I want to say it's October 20th. I am doing that, right? So I'm going to be training for that. And I have other races that I'm going to be doing, like a 10K next month, things along those lines. So I've shifted back my plan in Lumen. I moved back to the weight loss track. The last 2 months or so, I had switched it to the sports performance track because I was running a lot and I was training really hard, and I was kind of feeling a little sluggish, and I felt like the weight loss, like if I lose weight, great. If I don't, that's fine too. I wanted to be able to run that marathon because I needed to get back to being a marathon person again, right? Like I was when I lost all the weight the first time. I ran 7 marathons, and I ran, I think it was 6 different half marathons, and a bunch of 10Ks and 10 milers and things like that. When I lost the weight before, and running was part of the weight loss journey for me, then it's part of it now. But the way that I eat, the way that Lumen has me eating, the way that I'm dealing with the macros and the rolling of the macros from day to day based on how my metabolism is working, that has just really made all the difference in this 52-year-old, probably menopausal, who knows, maybe yes, maybe no, person has been in losing weight, as opposed to losing about 20-25 pounds in 6, 7, 8 months on my own, right? Losing 20 pounds in 7, 8 months is respectable. But yeah, it was really slow weight loss, and it was healthy, it was sustainable, all of those kinds of good things. But I am happier with the weight coming off in a little bit of a faster pace, other than that. So you can see my kitty cat in the background. Hi, Karma. He's enjoying the fresh air. It's a really lovely day, and I'm going to go run. I'm planning to go for at least 6 miles today. I'm going to kind of wing it, see how I feel. Go for a long run today of at least 6 miles. And that's what's on tap today. So all these milestones, and that's how I do my weights. But like I said, I encourage you to weigh yourself daily, because if you just step on the scale randomly and you're in a day where you're kind of in a holding water day, or something like that, that may be triggering to see that, well, it looks like the scale isn't moving, when if you look at it in the big picture, it really is. Okay, be well, be healthy, be happy. Hey, in my my little description box, I will put a link for the affiliate code for me for Lumen. If you're interested in Lumen and you found out from it because of me, then if you do Lumen through the affiliate link, I get like a little, the equivalent of like a little finder's fee. I'm not paying my mortgage with it, and I'm not paying marathon entry fee races with it, but it helps me. And if I've helped you, then hey, help me. So sweet humble request, right? So stay with it, be consistent. That is the best advice that I can give you. Be consistent, get it right up here, use your logic, don't get too emotional about any setbacks that you have, because you know what? I'm human, you're human, we are human. You're gonna have setbacks every now and again. You're gonna have plateaus every now and again, and that is actually a good thing, right? Because your body is trying to stabilize itself, it's trying to acclimate itself. And if you hit a moment like that, stay consistent, stay with the program, keep what you're doing, but maybe mix it up a little bit, right? Confuse your body a little bit so that you nudge it towards continuing to move forward. Try to break a sweat every day. That makes a huge difference. And whatever your level of fitness is, when I restarted with this journey at 260 pounds, all I could do was walk, right? My husband and I, when the weather was good, after dinner, we would go for a walk, okay? And yeah, I was kind of humiliated when I was walking because of how out of breath I was getting and how sweaty I was getting, and I knew where I could be and where I had been, but I just stuck with it, because being stubborn is your best friend. Okay, so have a great day, and I'll keep you posted on my journey. And 284 pounds right now. I'm 284 pounds. I'm 200. Where did that come from? Oh my God. Actually, that's around where I started the first time. I'm 184 pounds. I'm 184 pounds. See, there I go with like mixing up the numbers in my head. Okay. But yeah, I'm down 75 pounds this go round. I've lost 100 pounds total from my highest weight. And and I'm just working on being the best Rachel I can be. I still have weight to lose, and I have more to say about that, but I'll say more about that another time. All right, thanks. Burn that butter, right? I can burn that butter. You can burn that butter. Burn that butter.